Hi guys, Allison here, the Bored Housewife. I'm super excited that you're here with me today. This week's episode is going to talk a little bit about mental health, and not so much of like I'm an expert, so I know what the hell I'm talking about, because I don't. I just want to put that out there. I'm just kind of exploring some ideas of things that I've been seeing in the world and my own personal experiences, and I don't have any answers. I don't have any suggestions. I have a little bit of an opinion, but not so much to like make anyone feel bad. Just more so in my own experience of what I've been kind of thinking about. I do a lot of self-reflections. But anyway, so I just wanted to talk about it today because I thought, if I'm feeling this right now, as we're all starting to get back into the world again after our year with COVID, and then some, right? I'm just thinking that I've changed a little bit and my approach to things are a little bit different. And so I thought, if I'm having these feelings and these reservations, I bet other people are too. So, anyways, sit back and relax, guys. Grab your beverage of choice, or your cucumber mint cocktail. And cheers, guys. Let's have some fun. All right, so before we get into the episode, let me tell you about the cocktail of the hour. This is a cucumber mint cocktail. It's very refreshing, very light, yummy summer drink, if anybody is looking for something like that. So I took cucumber mint and I muddled it in my shaker. Then I put in the ice. I put in 3 ounces of vodka. It called for 2. I put in 3. Then it called for lemonade. Lemonade would probably taste really good in this. It would just be on the sweeter side. I optioned for half a lemon squeezed and a little bit of simple syrup just to give it a little bit of a sweetness. And then poured over ice and topped with soda water. So super simple. Really yummy. Could easily make this a virgin. Just take out the vodka and there you go. So yeah, it's very refreshing. It'll be a nice little summer sipper. So cheers, guys. Let's get into the episode. It is really, really good. Okay, so I've been thinking about a few things because I've just been feeling really overwhelmed lately. I haven't told you guys where we're moving to yet, but I'm gonna get there soon. Maybe next week's episode will be where we're moving to. It's just been very draining. There's a lot of work. I'll give you another hint. We aren't gonna be in the States any longer. So the process and all the things that I have to do, and all of the things that Cliff has to do, it's just really hard. And it's extra hard because we're not on a Marine Corps base. We're dealing with the Army, and so things are just a little bit different. And people aren't organized. And I'm trying to stay nice and calm, but it's getting to the point now where like we're starting to run out of time to get things done in a timely manner. So, and it's hard because I don't have any sort of like community around me because we're on recruiting duty. It's like we're just a little island out here all by our lonesomes. And my husband is just incredibly busy with recruiting, and that demand from him hasn't gone away while he still has to like figure out all the stuff for us to move. So I've just been feeling a little overwhelmed, and then I'm super excited because I have family coming this weekend. But like our summer's filling up now with like people wanting to come visit us before we leave, which I think is so awesome. But it's just like, when people come to visit, it's just like you got to get your house perfect and ready. And that's me. That's my mental state when the reality of it is it shouldn't matter, right? And none of our family would care if our house is a pigsty or not, as long as, it's somewhat put together and they have a bed to sleep in. But I put those pressures on me to have it as perfect as I can get it. And and you want to show them a good time, but then it's like I have all this other stuff on my mind right now. So I'm trying really hard to kind of loosen up a little bit and like work through this stuff so that I can enjoy our time with our family when they come. I can enjoy, our last summer here in Alabama. There's just so much going on. And so I'm going through all this stuff and I'm self-reflecting and I'm trying to figure out, I'm like praying, I'm doing more yoga. Like there's a lot of different things that I've been doing to try to connect with myself in my mind and in my body and just, be like, it's okay, Allison, because you can't have a freak out every day. It's not productive and it's not helpful to the process when you call your husband screaming and crying for, absolutely no reason. And that did happen this week. So it's like, what can I do? So I was on TikTok the other night and I was scrolling through and I've noticed that, and let me preface this, I always have no judgment, guys. I'm just stating observations. And then my interesting take on it, that's it. And like I said before, I have no expertise or anything. I was a communication arts major, okay? So I guess I have a little bit of like an anthropological aspect to communicating. But that's about it. So I was looking on TikTok and I was scrolling through, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with a platform on TikTok, but like not only will people's like small videos show up in your feed or like in your For You page, but also when people go live, sometimes they'll be suggested to you. And a lot of times when those suggested lives are happening, there's like thousands and thousands of people in those lives at the time. It's kind of like an Instagram live or something like that, but it's on TikTok. So I've been realizing that these like spiritualists or like people who are really into astrology and read like your astrological sign and based off of like the time of year, like your horoscope sort of stuff, but they really get into it. People are on there doing like psychic stuff, like tarot card reading. And so the other night, and it's amazing to me because there's like one night there was 100,000 people in this tarot card reading. And they were all just like waiting and like asking her questions, and then like she may or may not answer them. And I don't know if she was getting paid. I don't know what she was doing, but I just could not believe the amount of people that were on there watching this. Even if they weren't asking questions, they were observing. And I was just like, wow, like, I didn't know that. I'm into that stuff every once in a while, like it's kind of fun for me. I'm not like, I don't live my daily life by that sort of thing, but I just thought it was like, were people just curious too hopping in there, or like people really trying to like connect that way? And so then I saw this other girl, she was doing a sound bath, and it was like a live stream of her making a sound bath, and she had such a cool setup, I will say. Her, if you guys know what a sound bath is, you should look one up. They're actually really kind of cool. The best way I can describe it is, when you have like glasses of water and the water is at like different levels, and you like run your finger around the rim and it makes like a vibration sound. Sound baths are like that too, but they're not with water. They're these specific sort of bowl-shaped, kind of like an instrument sort of thing, and they have a little tongue that on the outside of it, they like roll around, and the different size bowls make different vibrations, and they call it a sound bath. And I've actually had one before. I took a yoga class with a friend in LA, by the pool. It was so LA, but it was actually really fun. And then afterwards, the yoga instructor did a sound bath and like walked around and had like, and it was kind of cool because you could feel the vibrations of the bowl and the instrument of the sound that it was making. And it's very relaxing. I will say that in the least. It is just, you just like laying there at the end. I can't remember what that's called, but, and then they come around and like doing that. That was like such a relaxing thing. So I saw this girl in there, and so I popped in, and she had this awesome setting, and her bowls looked different. They were like kind of white and clear. I don't know. They were cool looking. They kind of almost looked like rocks. Like, I don't know. They were just kind of really different. And she had this amazing backdrop behind her of like this city night sky, and then like these cool lights underneath it. It just was like such a vibe, right? And there was like 10,000 people in her live watching this. And it was right before bedtime. And so I was like, I could probably have sat there and watched her as well, because it was just very relaxing. But it got me thinking again, because I was just like, wow, like and this is the point that I'm making. It's like, are there, like, I know there's always people searching for this sort of like spiritual connection in that realm of things. Like, we all like have our different ways of doing it. Like, I pray a lot. I believe in God. So a lot of times before bed, especially if I'm stressed, I'll just pray and ask God to help me figure things out. And I just find it very calming. And sometimes I fall asleep praying to God because it's just like having a conversation, kind of. Other people look to other things to give them guidance or reassurance or whatever. And so how I'm tying this to like mental health is that I'm seeing that it's not only me searching for things right now to help me kind of readjust and kind of fix my attitude a little bit. But I think there's a lot of us out there doing that. And so I'm kind of going out on a limb saying that. But like, I think that based off of just a few conversations I've had with friends and people, and then also my own personal experiences, and then seeing what I'm seeing on social media, I'm just like, wow, I think we're all in a really interesting, kind of different place right now. And I think it's really interesting that we're all trying to connect to something. So yeah. I think it's kind of funny that for this one, I like make like a spa cocktail. I'm just like realizing that. I'm like, wow, this tastes like spa water, but with vodka. I'm like, subconscious, what are you doing? Knows me, knows what I like. Maybe that's what the cocktail should be called. I'm gonna call it spa water. I didn't make it up, but it's now called spa water. So anyways, like I said, I've gotten back into yoga again. So I've been like lifting weights, or trying to be consistent with it. And COVID, and a little bit of this episode too is going to be just talking about the like emotional and mental drain of having to deal with COVID. And I'm fucking sick and tired of, I forgot I can cuss on here. I'm fucking sick and tired of talking about it. I feel like it just consumes almost every single conversation that I have. And I'm just at the point now, like, I know we all have our different takes on what it is. I'm not going to get into that at all. I'm just saying personally, I don't care if you're, still scared of it, if you're like living down in Florida, like freebirding it, like I don't know what they're doing down in Florida, but like in Alabama, it's pretty much like free all, like you don't have to wear your masks and stuff anymore. So I'm not saying like wherever you're at in your journey, we're all at different places of where we feel good. I'm just tired of talking about it because it's just ruined and affected so many people's lives. And so I was thinking about that today, and I'm just like, it's interesting because pretty much this was a global pandemic. So for the first time in a really long time, us as a human race has, at the same exact time, dealing with something that none of us ever thought that we would have to necessarily deal with, So, I'm breathing heavy thinking about it. It's like everyone in the world has adjusted in some way because of this virus, and it's affected our lives. Some people way more dramatically than others. Some people maybe lost loved ones. Some people lost jobs, like the economies. There's just so many different things that this stupid virus has affected people with, right? And so I was like, I wonder if that's kind of a thing too, because I'm sure there's been a shift in energy because we've all had to, quarantine and lock ourselves up. And, it's human nature to want to interact and talk and be with people. And so now just trying to get back to where it was, it's almost like I don't want to bother. And I will say, a little bit of my attitude changed when we moved out here, because I went from working like crazy, being a crazy person, pretty much 24 hours a day. I was incredibly social, loved going out. I needed my downtime for sure, but I always had enough. And I've now gone to I stay home all day. I don't have a lot of human interaction other than my husband and then friends on the weekend. But I'm put out when I have to go and do something. And that's just not me. And I think, like I said, part of that changed when we moved out here, because a lot of the things that I found joy in and liked to do just were kind of taken away from me. So I really like trying new classes. I really like doing things that make me uncomfortable. And I know that sounds really strange, but it's the writer in me likes to empathize and likes to experience. So I like to put myself in scenarios that make me uncomfortable, so then I can understand what that feels like. So to try something new is super scary, and it's almost like an adrenaline junkie a little bit too. You get this adrenaline rush, and it's oh my gosh, I'm gonna do it, and so for me, I love that feeling. And so ways that I find it is through going to take a new dance class, going to take a different yoga class, maybe meeting people at a new bar. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be dramatic. It just is something out of the ordinary, something that's not on my daily path. And I don't do that anymore. And that makes me sad that I don't do that anymore. And I'm going to try not to get too heavy, because I know you guys come here for uplifting messages and that, but I just feel it's important to talk about this, because I think it's something that we're all going through. And so I'm sorry if this episode isn't as funny as the other ones are. I'm trying to find humor in all of this. But yeah, and so even the other night, I realized I'm depriving myself of things that I enjoy because I can't have them the way that I want them. So the example I'll say is there's this documentary on Hulu on Frank Sinatra and his life. Or no, it's on Netflix. No, I think it's on Netflix. Sorry. It might be on Hulu. I'm not sure. We have too many streaming services. But anyways, it's a 2-part documentary on Frank Sinatra. And I'm just I've been putting it off for so long, not watching it, and it's been in my queue, and I just or my watch list, and I've just won't watch it. And I don't know why I was doing that. And then the other night, I finally was okay, let's watch this. And like loving the music, because I love music from that time era. I love old jazz music. I love old movie musicals. Like these things are like my favorite things ever. Um, but like I used to go to jazz bars all the time, and I don't get to do that anymore. There is not a jazz bar in Guntersville, Alabama. There's kind of one in Huntsville, but that's like a 50-minute drive. So we have to usually like stay the night in Huntsville because it's like a really long drive back here. And it's not like 50 minutes sitting in traffic. It's like 50 minutes driving at 65 to 75 miles per hour. It's a long, it's far drive. So I just like realized because, and it's not even that great of a jazz bar. It's not any, it's like okay. It's like mediocre. Sorry. But I'm just like, I'm not listening to the music I like. I'm not watching the things that I like. Why? Oh, because I can't, and I kind of realized it was like, because I can't enjoy them to their fullest, greatest thing. And I was like, well, that's dumb. Like, why am I doing that? Because these things, even if it's just like I can't enjoy it in the way that I wanted to, like I want to, it still gives me joy in some way. But it's like I feel put out by it almost. And I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but it's just like it kind of trickled into everything that I do. And so, like I was saying before, I've been weightlifting a lot, and then COVID happened, and I had to do workouts from home, and it just wasn't the same. And I've tried to get back into it, and I am enjoying it in a different way now. I'm kind of like changing my mindset around it a little bit, because I was obsessed with losing weight. I was obsessed with like getting stronger and all this stuff, and I'm just like, it's just not happening for me right now. And I don't know if it's like the stress of everything that's going on in my life, or if there's maybe hormonal factors. Like I have no idea, but it's just not happening. So I've switched to intuitive eating, and I'm not finished with the book yet, so I'm not going to talk more about it, but I'm giving it a try. I'll let you guys know how I feel. So far, so good. Okay. But it's just like, so part of it is about like finding things that you enjoy, moving your body in ways that you enjoy it. So like I was forcing myself to go to the gym, and I didn't want to, and I was like, I just really want to do yoga, and there's not good yoga classes around here. So randomly I followed, so in LA I got into Y7 yoga, and it's so much fun. It's a hot yoga studio, and they have they're in New York too. I think they started in Brooklyn actually. But they have like a few locations now, I think, across the country. And they do like yoga, but they'll do it to hip hop music. So it's just kind of more fun and more contemporary. I like yoga the other way too, but just the format of their classes are really fun. And so, long story short, I just realized like last week that they are, because of COVID, they actually offer online classes now. And they have their whole series and stuff online. So I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so I've been doing yoga this week, and it has been a lot more like calming to me. And it's hard. It's still a workout for your body. And their like exercise series, like they add in a few little like, resistance sort of things, and like just, things that are going to kind of build your muscle a little bit more. But even yoga in itself, like, requires a lot of like core strength and all of the sorts of different things that you want. So it's like I'm kind of starting to like come out of myself a little bit again, and it's like, okay, like even though it's not the way that you want it, you can still have a piece of it. We can still figure it out. And this is just temporary. This is just a temporary time in your life. And it's going to change in a big way very soon. So let's just try to calm down a little bit and take this moment and regroup and regather and maybe change your attitude a little bit. Let's try to be more positive instead of negative. And so that is all that's happening right now with me. So yeah, it's just been such an interesting year for everyone, kind of going back to this idea. And I will say, like, I prayed a lot, and I still do, for not only my own sanity, the people around me, but all the people out there who have, some sort of maybe mental disorder or, addiction to something. I just can't imagine what this would be like. Even postpartum, like mommies, in this scenario, like, we just, like, I think it's good people are talking about things, and more people are coming out and being honest with, like, this or that. And not that they have to. I completely understand people that don't want to talk about that stuff, because then, maybe people want to talk about it with you every single time you see them, or, it's like, it's private. Like, just because you have it and you can deal with it doesn't mean you have to be a public speaker about it. But if you want to, and people coming out and talking about it, it just destigmatizes everything. And so, like, going to therapy, seeking that sort of stuff, like, I think it's great that people do that, because it's like, I don't know, like, we try to talk to our friends and family about stuff, but it's like kind of nice. The idea is nice to have somebody who's just like impartial and not biased to any of your scenarios, and will just be there to listen to you. I think sometimes when we try to talk through this stuff with friends and family, their opinions and their advice get, a little too heavy. Like, well, I think that you should do this. And it's just like, well, that's fine that you would do that, but we're not the same person. And, like, hopefully if you have someone who's trained, they're trained well enough to know that, like, to give advice per person, So, yeah, I just been, like, thinking about that kind of stuff a lot during this time. And if you're somebody that's going through some of that stuff, like, you can always reach out to me. I will always listen. I am not a trained professional by any means. I would suggest, if you're having a hard time with something, go try to find someone to talk to. Like, there's a bunch of different ways that you can get that done. I know sometimes money is a factor, but there are people who will do, like, sliding scales and stuff like that. If you're spiritual, or if you're religious at all, a lot of times you can talk to, like, a pastor or somebody like that, and they'll help you and give you a little bit of guidance. But I think sometimes too, just listening to podcasts like this just makes people feel a little less alone. And, like, I know some of the stuff that I'm dealing with right now with, like, our move and everything, I was feeling so frustrated because I didn't have an outlet to ask questions. I didn't know, like, I just have this, like, information in front of me and this is what you have to do. So I reached out to somebody that I knew had moved there and asked her a few questions, and she couldn't help me, but it was just kind of nice to hear her perspective and, like, her experience dealing with it. And then she introduced me to a group of spouses and military people where you can just ask questions and they'll help you out. And just as soon as I got in there and started looking through some things, I was just, like, instantly calmed down, because I was like, even though you guys might not be able to help me with this very specific thing, I have a support group now. And so when I do have something come up, I can ask you, and you may or may not have an answer for me. And again, sometimes it's not about getting answers. It's just about knowing that somebody who's going through similar things or feeling certain things is there for you. And just to be like, I know it's frustrating, or I know this is hard right now, or I know I feel alone too. So, yeah, I think that's kind of cool, and I hope that maybe this episode can be like that for some people. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. This is kind of a shorter episode this week. I just have a lot going on, and I am like, crazy girl. So I just wanted to kind of get this out of the way. I do actually kind of feel better. This was a little nice for me to get to talk to you guys and share a little bit of what's going on. I'm hoping as the summer goes on, I handle things better and I calm my little booty down. But yeah, I'm just thinking about, like, there's just so many factors going on in so many different people's lives. I personally want to go back to where I was before. I enjoy going out. I enjoy socializing with people. The fact that I feel like it's a chore now, like, just doesn't sit well with me. And maybe I have changed a little bit to where I'm older now, and so it's like, and we have responsibilities, so it's like, okay, can we really afford to go out every night? Can we do this or that? Whatever. But it's like, I know for some people it's probably, we've been open down here for a while, so we've been going out to eat and going to bars and stuff like that. But for some people that haven't left their house yet, it might be really scary to, like, how do I eat in a restaurant to get, or like, I gained quite a bit of weight and I don't want my friends to see me, or, various different reasons. I'm sure there's a million of them, of people just being like, I want to go out, I'm ready to go out, but it feels like too much work. It's so much easier to just sit here in my sweatpants and drink a bottle of wine in front of the TV. And if that's what you want to do, I'm not judging you. There's so many times I'd rather just do that than get out there and meet up with people. I will say that humans need humans, and we need good interactions with people. And I think that, this is a bit opinionated. And again, I have nothing. I am not qualified to give this kind of advice at all. This is just my personal opinion, talking to a group of friends. Even doing this, making this podcast has been part of that, because I'm like, wow, I have all these thoughts and feelings and things. I gotta get my stuff out there. I want to talk to people. And so that's kind of where I think this spun from a little bit. It's just like this need to connect with people and connecting with friends across the country and making new friends. And so anyways, just it's going to be a process, guys, but I do think we have to push ourselves a little bit. And I know personally I'm trying to think more positively. I'm going to stick to my yoga for a while and just pray to help me deal with things better. But I just want to encourage you guys, like, I have like other friends too that like military wives and all that, and it's just the stress of life sometimes. And it's like we live in, and I say this a lot, we only live one life, right? And it's wonderful. What we do on this planet is so amazing, and like the connections and everything that we have are so amazing. The impressions we leave on people, it's just really cool how we can express ourselves creatively and do different things. Like, I just think is amazing. But life gives us limits, and life gave the entire world of people, alive today, within this last year, a really big sour lemon. And we've all kind of had to figure it out and deal with it differently. And so yeah, I just want to say, like, it's okay, guys, take your time, but I do encourage you guys to start to figure out what works for you. And I'm going to try harder to just stop stressing and stop taking it too seriously. I think that's another part that I do. I just take this life so seriously all the time, and just have more fun with it, loosen up, because I think if anything, it's like we learned this last year, like how easily something could go away. And I just think that we need to enjoy what we have when we have it, and yeah, just do the best we can. So I hope this was comforting, guys. I hope it wasn't too heavy. I know I didn't make as many jokes, but it was important for me to talk about it, and it's been on my mind, so I just kind of wanted to get it out there. But yeah, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next Monday. Cheers. Bye.